1, 2. 1, 2, check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Maybe it's just too hot. How's that? You want more volume? Yeah? 1, 2, 1, 2. So this is normally the volume that we run. Is like that. Is the his God? 1, 2, 1. 1, 1, 2, 1. Is is it good now?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the third day of the inquiry. Again, just for introductions, I'm Commissioner Sandra Magwasha. To my left, I'm joined by Commissioner Pili Lintuli. To my right, I am joined by Commissioner Nomahlubi Kwinana. Then we have our panel of evidence leaders, apologies. Welcome to you. And once again, good morning to those who are joining us virtually. And once again, we do apologize for starting slightly late. We just had a bit of an emergency this morning on our way here. We will quickly just start with today's program. We do have Massmart that will appear as the first stakeholder. We have an apology from the Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment. He advised that as he just came into office last week, he just needs a bit of time, and we will then revert in terms of when we will be engaging with him. We then have Agri SA, who will also be attending. We then have an apology from the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation. He has advised us that he has a personal emergency. We have a decline to join us in terms of Premier Foods, who were represented by Pioneer Foods. So today's program, we have only 2 participants or 2 stakeholders that we'll be engaging with. So we'll start with Massmart. We will then have a break, and then I'll just ask Linda if we can just see if the colleagues from Agri SA are here, and we can perhaps have them in the slot of the minister, and then we will then have a bit of a short day today. So thank you so much. I'll ask if the representatives from Massmart are here. If they are here, if they can just come forward.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. Good morning, evidence leaders and everyone. I am Gishartha Singh. I am an advocate from the Johannesburg Bar, briefed by ENS attorneys. I've just been asked to attend the inquiry today on behalf of Massmart to place a few developments before the inquiry, if I may be permitted to do so.
Okay, because we were under the impression that the CEO would be joining us, and we also had received a submission. Are we then stating that after that communication there have been recent developments?
Yes, Commissioner.
All right, because can I just, for process, can I just ask you just to stand so that I can swear you in, and then we'll take it from there?
Yes, it's not typical for council to be sworn in.
Correct, I know.
Happy to do so if it will
Yes.
assist the commission. Sure.
Yes. Full names once again for the record.
Gishartha Singh.
Will you be taking the prescribed oath or affirmation?
Certainly, yes.
Which one, the oath or the affirmation?
Oh, the oath.
Do you consider the oath to be binding on your conscience?
I do.
Do you say that the evidence you're about to present before the commission is the truth, nothing but the whole truth? If so, raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
Yes, so help me God.
All right, you may proceed with providing us with those developments. And then you said you're briefed by ENS, is that correct?
That's correct.
Is there a representative attending with you?
Yes, Ms. Daleen Moodley.
Okay, thank you. You may proceed then.
Thank you, Commissioner. So, Commissioner, you're quite correct that the representative appropriately identified by the Commission and Massmart that was to have been here today is the CEO, Mr. Miles van Rensburg. Mr. van Rensburg, at the invitation of the Commission, has submitted written submissions. As I understand, this was submitted yesterday. I also understand that yesterday Mr. van Rensburg indicated his attendance today. As I understand the position, what then transpired is that Walmart, who is the holding company of Massmart, indicated to Mr. van Rensburg that he needed to first obtain some internal approvals so that there would simply be alignment across the business between Walmart and Massmart. And following that development, Mr. Tebogo Khanane, who is the Executive and Assistant General Counsel for Massmart, had a telephone conversation with Mr. Linda Mdabe, who I believe is a representative of the Commission. This telephone call happened yesterday evening, I am instructed, and it was agreed during that telephone conversation that Mr. van Rensburg would be excused from attending today and would be making himself available on a date to be determined by the Commission. So certainly Massmart's attendance today, and my instruction is to indicate to the Commission Massmart's willingness to participate in this very important process, and that it would be participating going forward, and also to express Massmart's gratitude for the indulgence. So simply I was requested to place these developments before the inquiry today. And then finally, and only to the extent that his availability might be accommodated, I'm not sure what the position is that I'm advised that Mr. van Rensburg is presently abroad. He will be back and available on the 28th, 29th, or 30th of July. That is, of course, only to the extent that he may be accommodated. If not, he'll obviously make himself available to the Commission on another date.
Thank you for those inputs. May I just ask the representative from the Human Rights Commission if you can just come forward just for these deliberations? Thank you so much, Council, for your patience. We're just deliberating on some of the issues. I'm going to perhaps, given the statements that you've made and the request made for a postponement, perhaps let me ask the evidence leaders if there are any questions for Council on behalf of who's acting on behalf of Massmart. Any clarity-seeking questions in terms of her submissions? No questions from the evidence leaders? Can we give Ms. Mulombo the mic? Thank you.
Commissioner, on our side, there are no questions in the absence of a rebuttal to what has been submitted on behalf of Massmart.
Thank you so much. May I perhaps call Mr. Lindo? Oh, I see that there's a question from members of the panel. I'll start with Commissioner Kwinana.
Thank you, Council. You are saying Mr. van Rensburg was ready to appear this morning, but I also heard you saying he's not in the country. So is ready to appear, except he's waiting for confirmation from the US board members, or is it that he's not even available in the country?
Thanks, Commissioner. So perhaps, may I just first say on record about this is my understanding in appearing today, obviously as a legal representative, was that there was already an agreement in place following a discussion that was had last night. So I understand from your fellow commissioner in a comment she made a moment ago that there was a request for a postponement. Just for clarity from my part, my understanding is that there was already an agreement. But obviously for deference and out of complete respect for the process, Massmart requested that I attend to place these developments before the inquiry, because of course the conversation took place outside of this forum. Then in relation to your query, my understanding is that there was an email sent last night, I think to the to Mr. Linda Kuhle or someone from the commission, that Mr. van Rensburg was ready to attend, and his statement was submitted yesterday as well. So my understanding on his availability, and I perhaps may need an instruction, but my understanding is not that he was not available to attend today. It was simply to state that insofar as his availability may be accommodated for his next appearance, is that he is traveling for some part of this month, but will be available on those dates. I don't know anything further than that, but if the Commission would like clarity on exactly when and where he will be travelling, I'm sure I can get an instruction. But I understand that he was intending to attend today until he received an instruction from his holding company, being Walmart, to say, listen, we just need to go through some internal improvements from an international alignment perspective before you attend. I'm also instructed that the written statement, which was provided under oath by Mr. van Rensburg, is before the Commission, and the Commission is fully entitled to have regard to that until he attends. He's not revoking or withdrawing that statement.
Yeah. No, you know, the simple one is this, is that he was ready to attend, but for what you call an undertaking that you say has been made, he was ready to attend. Can we just cross that hurdle? Is that what you say?
That is my instruction, yes.
All right. And this undertaking, has it been done in writing?
The undertaking to attend?
Yes, the undertaking not to attend that you have now referred to. Has that been done in writing?
The undertaking not to attend.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I just want to get clarity.
Remember,
No.
the undertaking, according to what you have submitted, is an undertaking that is said to have been done by a member of the Commission, right? which allows Mr. van Rensburg not to attend. That's the undertaking.
Yes,
Yes.
I understand you.
So has it been done in writing?
Commissioner, my only understanding of that fact is that there was a telephone conversation that took place last night between Mr. Mdabe and Mr. Teboho Khanane from Massmart. He's the legal general counsel for Massmart. That is all I'm able to say to the commission as I'm instructed.
Mm. All right. Yes, so Chair, that's the challenge, I suppose. But as of now, you council don't have any affidavit from Teboho who has relayed that information to you. That's correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So what is it that council has? This was just a verbal communication to yourself or to the attorneys in relation to that?
In relation to that, I was instructed by Edwin Nathan Sonnenberg, ENS, last night, asking that I appear on behalf of Massmart to place these developments before the commission. My understanding was that because there had been a phone conversation and an agreement reached, that it was not a controversial matter. But as I've already stated, Massmart did not want to just not appear and requested that I, out of respect for the commission, come and explain the situation and the developments.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Kwinana. Commissioner Ntuli? Based on the deliberations that have taken place between yourselves as well as yourself, Council, I think it's important that we have Mr. Mdabe come before us and just provide us with that clarity so that we have an understanding in terms of the conversation that was had in terms of the commission as well as Massmart, as well as whether this undertaking took place, because it's the first time that the panel as well as the evidence leaders are aware of this. The last communication we had received was that Massmart would be appearing before us this morning, and we had already received the sworn affidavit by the CEO. Just for that clarity, Mr. Mdabe, can I please ask you to stand up? Full names for the record, Mr. Mdabe.
Lindokuhle Percival Mdabe.
Will you be taking the prescribed oath or affirmation?
Oath.
Do you consider the oath to be binding on your conscience?
Yes, I do, Commissioner.
Do you swear that the evidence you're about to present before the panel or the commission is the truth, nothing but the whole truth? If so, raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you so much, Mr. You may sit. Just provide the panel with just an overview of the deliberations you've had with the representative from Massmart.
Yes. So, Commissioner, yesterday there was a WhatsApp conversation with Mr. Teboho from Massmart, who said that the CEO will be traveling on a Thursday, and all they undertake to do is make written submissions. So they won't be able to attend on a Friday. And then we then agreed that they will be provided a slot for Wednesday to appear in person, and that the written submissions will be filed before end of business yesterday, which was Tuesday. And the written submissions were indeed filed in the evening. I'm trying to get the correct time here. They were filed. They were filed at 17:52, and then there was an email that said that I'll read the email. Dear Sir, which is me in this context, we wish to extend our sincere appreciation to the Commission for accommodating the organization. We are grateful for the opportunity to participate in the inquiry. Please find attached the organization's statement deposed by our CEO, Miles van Rensburg, for the Commission's consideration. Should the Commission require any further information in the interim, please do not hesitate to contact us. Finally, we confirmed, as discussed telephonically, that our CEO will appear in person tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And then he then gave me a call via WhatsApp. He gave me a call via WhatsApp at 7:30. At 7:30, so it's 19:34, indicating that there are some complications with Mr. van Rensburg getting his counterpart from the US to contribute on the statement that had been submitted, and that he will be also traveling, which has already been an issue that has been discussed, and that he might not come to today. I did indicate to him that I'm not in the position to make that call. I can't make that decision. I can't give him an undertaking. And that has to be done before commissioners, and that someone needs to come before the commission and communicate that, because I can't make that decision. I can't be. That's all. That's the extent of the call. It wasn't in any way trying to convey that I am giving them an undertaking or an agreement. Has already been stated here that I'm excusing Mr. van Rensburg.
Thank you so much. Evidence leaders, would you like to engage?
Sorry, Commissioner, it's just a clarity-seeking question on my part. In view of the timeline that has been referred to by Mr. Mdabe to say there was a communication, he said 5:30, confirming that Massmart's CEO will appear, and then there was a subsequent telephone discussion at around...
There's communication at 17:52.
Yes, 17:52.
And then a call at 19:32.
Okay, 19:32, yes. Given that timeline is give or take 1 hour, 30 minutes difference, I just want to perhaps just to go back to Massmart, just to get clarity when the instruction, in terms of the timeline of when they received an instruction from Walmart not to proceed today, subject to all the necessary approvals being obtained. If we can just get clarification, and also just to get a clarification whether is this a new requirement that was suddenly imposed, because I would think entities such as Massmart will have operating procedures which will determine, you know, approval processes for different processes. But from the submissions that have been made, it appears that this was just a new requirement that the CEO and the legal representative were not aware of, which I would find very odd. I know you may not be able to answer that from the bar, but through whatever means the panel may direct, I think we will need to get clarity from Massmart about this procedure, whether it is unique to this situation, and why would the CEO and the group legal not have known before committing to come that there is a requirement for approval at that level. So for me, and also maybe lastly, just to also maybe direct it to Mr. Mdabe, whether the request, because you've rightly indicated that you are not in a position to grant or not grant an approval because that is ultimately the panel's decision. By that, I'm not saying that is what you discussed with Massmart. I'm just saying it as a matter of fact that you do not have the authority to grant or not grant a postponement. Did you then convey that request or that was subsequently made by Massmart to the panel to say there has been this request that has been put to me for your consideration? So those will be my clarity-seeking questions. Thank you.
The conversation, commissioners, it wasn't. It was an open-ended conversation. I can't really explain it now, but he said the CEO is willing to come. The CEO is going to come, but there might be some complications with getting some input from the US counterparts. And then I then said, given that you have already made an undertaking to come, a confirmation to come, that needs to be explained before the commissioners. And someone needs to come and explain that to the commissioners. It's in a region somewhere in my mind that wasn't trying to convey to them that I'm indicating that the CEO should not come. I was expecting someone to come that includes the CEO, because that conversation has already been had via email that he is going to come. So today I was really under the impression that the CEO is going to be here, even if they're going to ask for a postponement, but they're going to do so here with the CEO. There wasn't any indication that I'm trying to now change what they have already confirmed via email and as well as via WhatsApp.
Thank you for the questions, Evidence Leader. So, of course, I'm briefed in a limited capacity this morning, which I think you appreciate. So I'm not briefed or mandated to give any evidence, as it were, on the part of Massmart, save for what I have placed before the commissioners and the inquiry. To the extent that it would be of assistance to obtain the information that's been requested by the evidence leaders, perhaps two things. Might I perhaps ask for a short adjournment so that I can get an instruction from my attorney and see what information is at our disposal to provide to you? Because certainly the intention is not to be obstructive or an unwilling participant in these proceedings. I think expressly, if I was instructed anything, it was to make the Commission fully aware and alive to the fact that Massmart intends participating. I think that is demonstrated by the statement that has been delivered. You know, commercial realities sometimes do result in you know, overseas counterparts making requests and inquiries of their South African counterparts. But how that has arisen and when precisely that arose, I cannot say, and I don't wish to mislead the Commission or the evidence leaders in any way. So if it is permissible, may I ask for a short adjournment? I will establish the facts that I can, and I will, yes, and I'll come back. I do have a suggestion that may address the evidence leaders' questions, but I'd just like to get approval from my instructing attorney if that is in order.
Counsel, as a creature of instructions, your request for an adjournment is granted. We will then, once you have those instructions, just advise us and we'll proceed.
Grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners and evidence leaders, for the questions.
We'll just go for a short adjournment and then we'll be back. Thank you. Counsel, I see that you have returned. Do you have proper instructions?
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you very much for the indulgence to obtain the instructions that I could. So, Commissioner, I have had a phone call with Teboho Khanane, who's the legal counsel, general legal counsel employed at Massmart, and I've also taken instructions from my attorney. The position is that following the delivery of the statement at 17:51 yesterday, internal discussions were had between Walmart and Massmart, to which Mr. Khanane was party. I am loath to give evidence from the bar, which is also going to be hearsay when I say to you, Teboho spoke to Mr. X and these are the instructions. So my suggestion, if it is accepted by the Commission, and of course subject to the evidence leader's input as well, is that Mr. Khanane of Massmart has undertaken to deliver an affidavit in which he addresses the express questions raised by the evidence leader concerning the developments that took place after the delivery of the statement, and whatever inputs were raised by, or comments were raised by Walmart, and why it was suggested by Walmart that Mr. van Rensburg not attend today for those reasons. If that is accepted. In addition, Massmart has asked me to also indicate that to the extent that any questions arise from the statement that was delivered last night, any substantive questions or clarity-seeking questions, those questions will be happily addressed by Massmart ahead of Mr. van Rensburg's his appearance, or of course during his appearance, whatever is convenient. But the assurance is certainly that Mr. van Rensburg will be attending, and Massmart fully intends to cooperate and participate. And then, of course, just to place on record again from Mr. Khanane's perspective, because I know Mr. Mdabe has placed his version, as it were, before the Commission. I don't want to, again, be guilty of hearsay, but simply to say that there obviously was a misunderstanding as to Mr. van Rensburg being excused today. And Mr. Khanane's understanding was that there was agreement that he be excused, but that someone attend on behalf of Massmart just to place it before the Commission, out of course, deference and respect for the Commission. And an understanding that there was a subpoena in place. Thank you, Commissioners and evidence leaders.
Ms. Malombo, the proposal by Council in terms of an affidavit to respond to express questions. Do you have any questions for both Council as well as Mr. Mdabe?
Commissioner, we don't have. I don't have any further questions, and subject to the decision of the panel, I think the affidavit will assist us in trying to understand what has happened. And perhaps to add to the extent that Massmart may be required to appear before the Commission at a later stage as per the undertaking, perhaps then that can be the issues that can be clarified further when Massmart appears. So our proposal is to the extent that there will be that further hearing, perhaps also the legal counsel, in addition to the CEO, be required to appear, then to clarify any questions that may arise from his statement on the engagement that he may have had with Mr. Mdabe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Malombo. Thank you so much, Council, for the suggestion in terms of the affidavit to address the expressed questions by the evidence leader, but also then the proposer that any substantive and clarity-seeking questions they were more than willing to answer in terms of Massmart, as well as perhaps in that affidavit, if we can just also get clarity in terms of the misunderstanding that occurred between Massmart's in-house counsel as well as the commission, just so that we understand his position in that particular aspect. The panel will provide, in terms of in writing, when the CEO needs to appear before the commission. We will also then, when we do respond in writing, also then provide those questions and clarity-seeking questions from the CEO. And we thank yourselves for being present, as well as noting the importance of this inquiry. Counsel, as well as the briefing attorney, you are duly excused. Mr. Mdabe, you're also excused. You may stand off the podium. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, commissioners and evidence leaders. Grateful.
Thank you. Colleagues in the room, as well as those who are attending virtually, we are waiting for the next stakeholder in terms of the agenda, and that's Agri SA. I have no indication whether they have arrived or not, and they were supposed to appear at 11. Can we just take a short break until they arrive, and then we'll proceed once we have representatives from Agri SA. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We are back to the session. We have representatives from Agri SA who have swiftly taken the podium. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Good morning. I am the chairperson of the inquiry, Commissioner Sandra Magwasha. I'm joined to my right by Commissioner Pili Lentuli, left, and then to my right by Commissioner Nobahlubi Kwinana. Just for the record, can you just introduce yourself as well as the role you play at Agri SA, and then we'll just take you through the procedure for swearing you in.
Good morning, I'm Johan Kotse, I'm the CEO of Agri SA.
Good morning, everybody. Jan Sarabi, Legal and Policy Consultant to Agri SA.
Thank you, gentlemen. May I just ask, sir, can you just stand while I swear you in? Full names once again. So for the record, can I just ask you to use the mic? Your full names?
That's Johan Francois Kotse.
So will you be taking the prescribed oath or affirmation?
I will, thank you.
Do you consider the oath to be binding on your conscience?
Yes,
Do you see that the evidence you're about to present before the commission is the truth, nothing but the whole truth? If so, raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
so help me God.
Thank you so much. Counsel, will you be providing him with any support or answering any questions with him? May I ask that because we're not sure at this moment, I ask that you also be sworn in, just so that we're not now full names for the record.
Nicolaas Janse van Rensburg, Rabi.
So will you be taking the prescribed oath or affirmation?
I do.
Do you consider the oath to be binding on your conscience?
I do.
Do you swear that the evidence you're about to give to the commission is the truth, nothing but the whole truth? If so, raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you so much. You are duly sworn in. You may then take us through your presentation. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, so we did not bring a presentation, but we did do a submission of the questions that was asked, and then we did a written submission. And I think we're going to stand with that.
All right. Perhaps because there are members of the public who are joining us virtually, if you can just briefly introduce what Agri SA is and what they do in South Africa, so that members of the public are more familiar with your work.
So Agri SA is a federal system, which means we operate in all the provinces. So demographically, it's up to the most rural areas in South Africa. We have about 15,000 members, which means it's a farmers organization being presented from the grassroots upwards. So it's not a top-down movement. It is a movement where farmers are getting together, they group themselves, and that grouping goes to a region, and that little region goes into a province. So the province is then, for us, a member as Agri SA. We're situated in Centurion. So that's the farmer side of Agri SA. Then we have the commodities. We have about 37 commodities in South Africa. Of 23 of the commodities are members with Agri SA, which means, and I know the one commodity quite well, the pork industry, is SAPO, South African Pork Producers Organization. So farmers would pay a statutory levy, and they organize themselves through the commodity house, which is then SAPO. So, and then SAPO is a member with Agri SA. So that's the second pillar that we deal with in our membership. The third pillar is it's an interest group, which is which is big corporates, and we have about 53 big corporates. And for them, it is about the networking. It's about understanding agriculture better, and I think it's about managing the value chain. So they being corporate members with Agri SA. So that's the three pillars that we stand on. What is our reason for existence? Our reason for existence is food security. It's the play that we have into the food security narrative that we drive. And I think one big thing that we utilize is the policy influence. And what I mean by that is that policy is an enabler for farmers in South Africa that group themselves together to say that we could be farmers and eventually contribute to food security in South Africa. Maybe a last thing on who we present as farmers. It is all farmers in South Africa and mainly commercial farmers. And what I mean by that is anybody that sells off more than what they utilize is a commercial farmer. So we're apolitical, we're not a political party, we don't have a political drive, we have just one thing in mind, and that's agriculture. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much for that explanation. I will hand over to the evidence leaders to just engage you in terms of the written submissions you've made, and then the panel will come through. Thank you. May I just start with Ms. Mulombo today, and then we'll come to... Okay, I see that there's an agreement amongst the evidence leaders. Apologies. You may proceed.
Thank you. So, thank you. We did note that you did submit a written response to all the questions raised, and I also took a note of your constructive recommendations that you made, and I would like to thank you for that. And which I think sometimes also show the limitations in which you're working currently. So I do have a couple of questions that I would like to pose to you. And the first one is, since farm gate prices are largely set by global market forces, what measures, namely SAFEX, what measures can your members take to insulate local consumers from global price shocks during times of high international commodities speculation?
I wish we could. So firstly, we are price takers, and I think we participate in the global market. So a nice way of understanding where we are in the global market. 30 years ago, the same produce that we produced, the total produce of 30 years ago, we export today. So we export 50% of what we produce, but we more than doubled our total production. The farmers are price takers, so we are not. We cannot make a price. So if you take SAFEX, it's an open market system that's utilized and it's driven by market forces. So when we have a price increase, is what we have now. Last year was a big on maize. The only thing we can do is we can utilize SAFEX for us as farmers to mitigate the risk, where you have a set price in the structure that we utilize. So farmers are utilizers of mechanisms, but we're not the dictators of those mechanisms. So we cannot foresee, or we cannot go and push the price up or down. So very limited in the way that we deal specifically with the international, I would say, price dictation or price benchmarking in South Africa. And as I said, we are price takers, not price makers.
Yes, thank you. I do hear you. You spoke on behalf of the farmers, but you just mentioned the fact that you're also presenting producers' organizations, which we know are made up of farmers. And then you have the 53 big corporates that are the third pillar of your membership. And how are they actually contributing to make food more affordable?
So the only way that we as farmers can move up into our value chain, and specifically the pricing structures, is by lobbying. So I think the push that we have is policy, in the sense of if there's any policies that would, to a certain extent, help to make sure that the price is not up and down to a certain extent, that the consumer or the end user eventually going to pay for that price. There's a lobbying that we do, but we do not have a direct, I would say, mechanism into the concept of the buyers as the big retailers being members of us. So being a member of us doesn't give me any leeway into their pricing structure. What it does give me is the lobbying concept of who we are as farmers. What is our say for instance, production cost on certain, what do you call it, produce that we have. So no direct involvement in price making. Lobbying, make sure that policy is enabling us to produce food at a reasonable price or affordable price, but this is how far we go.
Okay, thank you. And then I also noticed in your submission that you argue that the cost wedge beyond the farm gate is the main driver of high prices, coming to your point just now. So what specific logistical innovations are your members implementing to bypass expensive middlemen and get fresh produce directly to lower income urban and rural markets at lower costs?
So again, I think a lot of lobbying, a lot of networking in the value chain that we have. If I take logistics, Agri SA was involved now in a process that we have in the Free State on roads. Specifically, the road infrastructure is absolutely, in certain rural areas,